The dusty plains of Tatooine are more than just a stark backdrop to the childhood of Luke Skywalker, they're a silent repository of tales that have shaped the galaxy. Among these, a modest dwelling once owned by Obi-Wan Kenobi holds a manuscript of profound significance. This document, later discovered by Luke, offers a detailed account of the tumultuous period of the Clone Wars. One name that emerges throughout Kenobi's chronicles is that of Asajj Ventress. Trained by Darth as a Sith assassin, she carved a path of chaos across the stars during the Clone Wars. Yet it was Obi-Wan Kenobi's unique perspective on her that revealed more about the Jedi than about Ventress herself. Today we take a look into Kenobi's reflections on Ventress, exploring how their encounters influenced his views on the Jedi, the Sith, and the fine line between them. 10 weeks following the Battle of Geonosis, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker were thrust into a confrontation that would mark the beginning of a complex rivalry. Responding to a distress signal from the Naboo moon of Omadun, they were dispatched to investigate the mysterious loss of communication with a Gungan colony. Upon arrival, the team discovered the once thriving settlement had been silenced by a deadly chemical weapon known as swamp gas. The attack was a calculated move designed by Asajj Ventress to draw the Jedi into a trap. The skirmish began as the Jedi faced off against the bounty hunter Dirge and upgraded B-2 super battle droids. Ventress arrived as a specter of vengeance, swiftly decapitating Jedi Master Glaive. Fixing on Kenobi, she declared her disillusionment with the Jedi, whom she once revered. Brandishing dual lightsabers, she accused the Jedi of weakness and ignorance, echoing Count Dooku's belief that the galaxy needed a Jedi purge. The duel that ensued was not just a clash of blades, but of ideologies. Ventress attacked with a ferocity that matched her words, yet as their lightsabers crossed, Kenobi sensed more than just anger in Ventress. Amidst her aggressive assaults and dark declarations, there was an underlying fear, a dread of solitude that seemed to drive her fury. As the battle raged, Kenobi perceived a sliver of humanity within Ventress, a part of her not wholly corrupted by the dark side. This realization led him to a profound conclusion. While Sith Lords embody the essence of evil, Ventress was more a prisoner of darkness than its willing advocate. This insight into her character marked the beginning of a tumultuous relationship filled with conflict, underscored by a strange kinship. Ventress ultimately escaped, leaving behind a deep imprint on Kenobi's understanding of the complex tapestry of the Force. This encounter set the stage for their future interactions, with each meeting weaving a deeper understanding between them, challenging their beliefs and the very definitions of light and dark. Throughout the Clone Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Asajj Ventress crossed paths repeatedly, but it was not until later in the conflict that Kenobi learned her tragic history. Ventress was born into the mystical Night Sisters, a clan of magic-wielding women on the planet Dathomir, under the leadership of Mother Talzin. Her life took a dramatic turn when their clan was threatened by the Senatine criminal Halstead. In order to protect her people, Talzin arranged for Ventress's mother to surrender her young daughter to the criminal. Thus began Ventress's life, not as a cherished child, but as a pawn in the games of power. Taken to the war-torn world of Rat-Attack, Ventress was cared for by Halstead, who showed her kindness. Yet beneath this facade, he was molding her into a living weapon. Her early years were marked by violence, dominated by cruel warlords and constant pirate raids. At the age of 6, her existence was shattered when she found Halstead dead, a victim in the very violence he had thrived in. The grief-stricken child's life took another fateful turn with the arrival of Kai Narek, a Jedi Knight marooned on Rat-Attack. Attacked by a Weequay pirate, Ventress displayed her latent Force abilities in a desperate act of defense, hurling the assailant through the air. Recognizing her potential, Narek took her under his wing, training her in the ways of the Force and the art of lightsaber combat. For 2 decades, Ventress grew under Narek's guidance, believing she might one day join the ranks of the Jedi. However, her dreams were cruelly cut short. Narek was killed in a pirate raid. Overcome by grief and rage, Ventress embraced the dark side, wielding her fallen master's lightsaber in a bloody vendetta against those she held responsible. When Kenobi learned of these events, he saw in Ventress not just an enemy, but a tragic figure. He reached out, hoping she might see a path to redemption and peace. Yet Ventress could not let go of her anger and the sense of abandonment she felt from a Jedi Order that in her eyes had failed her master. The Battle of Jabiim is one of the darkest chapters of the Clone Wars, not only for the intensity of the conflict, but also for the personal trials it inflicted upon those involved. Presumed dead, Obi-Wan Kenobi was captured by Ventress and transported to her stronghold on the world of Ratatak. There, seeking to manipulate and break him, Ventress placed him in a Sith torture mask and fed him lies about Anakin Skywalker's death. Asajj hoped to secure her position as Dooku's official Sith apprentice. With the galaxy mourning Kenobi as a fallen hero, Ventress planned to present his survival and subsequent breaking as a testament to her worthiness to become a Dark Lord of the Sith. However, with Advanced Recon Commando Alpha 17, Kenobi orchestrated a daring escape. Reclaiming the lightsaber of Kai Narek, the symbol of Ventress's own twisted journey, they made their way to Ventress's Genevex-class starfighter. Confronted by Ventress, Obi-Wan faced her not with hatred, but with a profound sense of pity. Despite the pain she had inflicted, Kenobi saw her not as a villain, but as a victim of the dark side's cruel manipulations. He expressed a poignant truth. Ventress had the potential to become one of the Jedi Order's greatest Jedi Masters. These parting words to Ventress were not a rebuke of her actions, but a regret for what she could have become. In the final months of the Clone Wars, the fate of Asajj Ventress remained a question that haunted Obi-Wan Kenobi. Despite the Jedi Order's belief that Ventress had perished, Kenobi believed she had survived. Gaining approval from the Jedi Council to follow this hunch, he embarked on what Anakin Skywalker dismissed as a wild bantha chase, yet the trail of clues pointed to her continued existence. The quest led Kenobi to Baz Pity, where Republic forces launched an offensive against the Separatists. Inside a stronghold, Kenobi discovered Ventress floating in a Bacta tank. As Kenobi sensed her fear and despair through the Force, his presence awakened her from her healing trance, and as she burst from the tank, she flung Kenobi outside and attacked. Despite her aggressive onslaught, Kenobi refused to attack. He implored Ventress to let go, offering her a chance at redemption. Kenobi assured her she no longer had to be alone, but Ventress, driven by years of manipulation and betrayal, continued her attack. In a cruel twist of fate, Darth Tyrannus callously ordered one of his Magna Guards to eliminate her. Kenobi ran to her rescue, while Anakin prioritized the pursuit of Dooku. But when Kenobi asked his former Padawan how his life would have been different had the other Sith found Anakin as a boy, Anakin went in search of a medic. Seeing her chance, Ventress attempted to kill Obi-Wan, but Anakin intervened, striking Ventress down. With her dying breath, Ventress warned the Jedi to defend Coruscant, as that was the Separatist key to ending the war. Honoring the fallen Night Sister, Kenobi carried her body to a medical frigate, ordering she receive a dignified funeral on Coruscant. Yet the frigate, along with Ventress's body, mysteriously disappeared while en route to the Republic capital. In Kenobi's final thoughts on the Clone Wars, he reflected on the similarities between Asajj Ventress and Darth Vader. Both had experienced the deep pain of losing loved ones, and both had ample reasons to feel disillusioned with the Republic and the Jedi Order. These similarities, however, culminated in vastly different outcomes. Ventress, despite her descent into darkness, retained traces of vulnerability and a capacity for redemption. In contrast, Obi-Wan noted that when he confronted Vader on Mustafar, he encountered a being so transformed by his choices that there were no remnants of the Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker. While he harbored a lingering sadness for Ventress, whom he believed might have been redeemed, it was Anakin's fall that Obi-Wan deemed his greatest failure. Obi-Wan Kenobi's reflections provide not only a historical account, but also a philosophical exploration of the nature of good and evil, choice and destiny. To dive further into how influencing events and individuals can affect the galaxy, check out our video on how Darth Krayt could have changed Anakin Skywalker's fate.